Yesterday, we talked about Tua Tagovailoa and his expectation going into the season, and I normally would do the offense, then the defense, and then the head coach, but we're a little crunched with time because I have a ton of content to pump out for you. So now we're just going to do the Miami Dolphins in general. What is up, Finn fans? We're going to be talking Miami Dolphins. I'm going to give you a full, in-depth analysis with stats and my opinion and all that good stuff about 2022. And then I'm going to give you what I think should happen or kind of my expectations going into 2023. Now, I'm not giving you a record prediction, and I'm not telling you how many games they're going to win because that's tomorrow. I normally do that like the Wednesday before, but I got a lot planned. So Monday, tomorrow, I'm going to give you guys my record prediction. We're going to go game by game. I'm going to tell you my thoughts on the game, and I'm going to give you the record prediction. I hate doing it because a lot could change. But I'm going to give you the record prediction. So we're going to jump into this one, kind of looking at 2022. And last year, the Miami Dolphins went 9-8. They made the playoffs, right? Obviously lost in the wild card. Mike McDaniel's first year. There's some ups, there's some downs. The expected win-loss was around 8 wins. We exceeded that by 1 game. But let's jump into stats, and then I'll go into some talking points when it comes to the coach and all that good stuff. So as you can see here, we got the stats. Now, this is how this stuff works, right? You got the team stats, you got the opponent stats, right? And then you got the ranking. So, like, when it comes to, we scored 397 points, right? That's on offense. That was 11th ranked. See how that works? Yards, we were 6th ranked in yards, but you see how our defense was? We were 24th and 18th. That's not good. So we'll go over here. Like, you can look at all this stuff. Turnovers. Very good at not turning the ball over on offense, 8th ranked. Not very good at getting the turnovers, 30th ranked. There's only 2 teams worse than the Dolphins at getting turnovers. That's not good. First downs, kind of middle of the pack in stopping first downs and getting first downs. Passing, we were a 4th ranked passing offense. When it came to yards and touchdowns, we were throwing the ball willy-nilly however we wanted to. And this is a good number of interceptions. We didn't throw many interceptions, 22nd. But then you flip it, you look at the defense, not so good as a passing defense. 27th in yards, 26th in allowing touchdowns, and we barely got any interceptions with 8, 29th. Then you look at rushing, because they got first downs here, but they don't really rank them. You look at rushing. Rushing attempts on offense, 31st. We did not run the ball as often as we should have. Mike McDaniel owned up to that. He's saying that he's going to do better this year. I honestly think he is. The fact that they tried 5 different times to get a top 5 running back. So I think they will. Yards, we were 25th ranked. Not good. Rushing touchdowns, 22nd ranked, not good. And yards per attempt, 19th ranked, not good. But you take that and you flip it, 4th in rushing defense and 6th in rushing yards per attempt. Very good on the rushing defense. Then you got like time, average drives, kind of middle of the pack. We allowed a lot of long drives. So you can see here, starting position, low, middle of the pack here. Plays, again, not good. Yards, we were good on offense, middle of the pack on defense. But what I also wanted to show you is third downs and stuff. So you could see here on third downs, on offense and defense, we were 24th ranked. By the bye week, I think we were pretty high. I think we were like in the 10, like top 10, top 15 when it came to third down conversion percentage. And then it dropped. It steadily dropped. Fourth down, we converted a lot. We were 9th ranked. And in the red zone on offense, 60%, we were 10th. We were very good in the red zone on offense. On defense, not so great, right? Allowed a lot of conversions on third downs. I heard a lot of people saying the defense is on the field too much, which I agreed, but also they didn't help themselves the fact that they allowed the opposing team to constantly convert third downs. And their red zone defense was not good, like at all. 23rd ranked, 9th from the bottom. Not good at all there. But those are some of the stats, right? I also have some advanced stats for you. So one of the biggest problems that I noticed was penalties. The Miami Dolphins were 5th in the NFL with penalties, with 111 penalties. They had 10. They were 10th in the NFL in delay of game, and they were second in the NFL in defensive pass interference with 11. Now, some of those defensive pass interferences were pretty tic-tacky, because if you saw some of those defensive pass interference, Sauce Gardner would have 20,000 of them. Not a shot at Sauce Gardner, just a shot at how tic-tacky some of these pass interference calls on our defense. On offense, this is more kind of directed at the offensive line. The Miami Dolphins were 6th in the NFL in pressure percentage allowed. So essentially they took how many snaps, how many times they were pressured, and they got the percentage of that. 6th in the NFL with 25% of the snaps that they the offensive line or the offense had. 25% of the time there was pressure. That was 6th worst in the NFL. Hits, 7th worst with 64. Hurries, 1st in the NFL with 61. And the thing that makes it worse, right? The thing that you're like, what? Is they were last in the NFL in getting blitzed. There was no team that got blitzed less than the Miami Dolphins. 108 times they were blitzed last season. That is last in the NFL. No team in the NFL was blitzed less than the Dolphins, but they were 6th in allowing pressure, 7th in allowing hits, and 1st in allowing hurries, but last in getting blitzed. So that means that there's only 4 defenders going at them, and this was happening. And also on the offense, they were 7th in the NFL in drop percentage. Again, how many passes, and they took how many drops, and they took a percentage of it. 7th in the NFL with 6.2% of the passes were dropped. That's the offense. Like, those are the little advanced stats in the offense. Now, flip it and reverse it. That is on now the defensive advanced stats. They were 3rd in the NFL in blitz percentage. Again, same dynamic. How many snaps on defense divided by how many times they blitzed, you got your percentage. Or you know how to get percentages. They blitzed 33.3% of the time. So you're like, wow, they blitz a lot. We knew that with Josh Boyer. And that's even why Vic Fangio came out and said, I don't blitz when I need to. I blitz when I want to. Because last year the Dolphins were 3rd in the NFL in blitzing. But 16th in the NFL in pressure percentage with 21.7. Tied for 14th in the NFL with sacks, 40. So they blitzed 3rd most in the NFL, but the amount of pressure they got was 16th ranked, and the amount of sacks was tied for 14th. So the production off the blitzes did not match the amount of time they blitzed. And that is the thing that I noticed the most last year when I was watching Josh Boyer's defense. He would blitz, and a good portion of the time, again, you go from blitzing 3rd in 3rd most in the NFL, but your production from it is middle of the pack in the NFL. There's a huge gap in sending blitzes, not getting the pressure, not getting the sacks, and while you're sending extra players, guys are getting open. And I noticed it, and Josh Boyer constantly did it on the red zone. He would send a blitz, they'd let the running back go out, boom, easy touchdown. I noticed it time and time again, and that is why the passing of the Dolphins defense isn't good, because he relied too much on blitzes. And that's why when Vic Fangio came out and said, I don't blitz for need, I blitz when I want to, I was like, oh, thank God. I'm excited to see, but I'm getting ahead of myself. And then When it came to quarterback rating, we were the 6th worst in the NFL, allowing the opposing quarterbacks 95.3 passer rating, and they were 29th in the NFL in interceptions with 8. Now, I'm hoping a lot of that changes. Again, Vic Fangio is known for getting the best out of his safeties and his linebackers. You've seen like Navarro, and you see a bunch of these other guys. So I'm hoping that can happen. Then we'll talk about special teams. Because special teams are important. There were some games that could have been turned around if a field goal would have happened, and some games we lost. I don't know if it was necessarily last year, but the year before, with missed field goals. So when it comes to special teams, the Dolphins are 10th in the NFL in allowing punt return yards with 312. That's not good. You're top 10 in allowing punt return yards. Essentially, you're allowing good field position for the opponent to start. And 18th in the NFL, which is kind of middle of the pack, for kick return yards is 724. That's just because Jason Sanders is pretty good at kicking it out of the back of the end zone. Speaking of Jason Sanders, he was 26 out of 32 with his field goals, which is 81.3%. It's not his best. We know when his best was, but it's not his worst. 2021 was his worst when he had 74.2% of his field goals made, and that was the year, again, we lost a few games on missed field goals. Extra point, he made 41 out of 44 attempts, 93.2%. That is his worst. It should be 100. I know it's, pushed back to the 15, so essentially it's a 25-yard field goal. You need to make those, my man. Most of his misses were from 50-plus. He was 2 for 6, 2 out of 6, 50-plus, and all the other kicks when it came to, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, he only missed 2. One was like 20 to 30, the other was 40 to 50-yarder, so he only missed 2. It's once he got pushed outside the 50 is where he's like the 51, 52-yarders is where he started missing. You shouldn't have to want your kicker to make 50-plus yard field goals. I get that. The offense should be good enough to get him into a better field goal range because, again, he only missed 2 from 10, I'm going to say 20 to, 50 yards in that section. He only missed 2 field goals. But when the game's on the line and that's what we got you, you got the leg for it. If we look at his best year, which was 2020, he made 8 out of 9 field goals from 50-plus yards. That was 92.3% field goal percentage in 2020. The only field goal, he missed 2 field goals from 40 to 49 yards. Other than that, he was money. So, he can make them. It's just he wasn't. And a prime example to me of it really turning the tides is the Jets game. Because it was 19 to 17 with 8 minutes left. You got a 7th round rookie quarterback in there. He makes that field goal. The Dolphins are up by 1 point, 20 to 19. He misses that field goal, and it was a complete collapse. Because they marched down the field because they essentially started around midfield, marched down the field, got a touchdown, and then all of a sudden we're trying to do too much. Instead of running the ball like Mostert was doing really well that game, we were doing too much and turn the ball over on our own side of the field, all of a sudden 40 to 17. So it's momentum change when missing those field goals. So those are the stats I got for you, right? We looked at 2022. Now, expectations, let's look at 2023. I need to see Mike McDaniel have a little bit more of a grasp on this team. I did like, I forgot what game it was. Comment below. I think it was the Lions game. I'm like 90% sure it's the Lions game. When Mike McDaniel yelled, and it was on TV, to fix this blank, because he's noticing that, and I'm pretty sure it's that game, the defense wasn't doing anything. It wasn't doing anything. So he was pretty pissed, and I like that. I need to see that go towards more discipline, right? We were 5th ranked in the NFL in penalties, committing 111 of them. That was one of the things that killed me, right? Also, his clock management and his challenges, and a lot of times he tried to get too cute. Those are really the only things that bothered me about Vic Fangio, Mike McDaniel, and his rookie year. And again, it's his rookie year. Penalties, clock management, challenges, and he's in his play calls in certain situations. 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, 3rd and 2. You know, if they were stopping the run down and down and down, and we barely were able to move the ball running the ball, and our offensive line was barely able to push their defensive line, why are you going to run it on 3rd and 2, 4th and 2? It's very easy. You just drop back, you have your guys run slants or outs, and you just dump it to them and move it on. Or play action, have your quarterback roll out, especially when Skylar Thompson was out there, have him roll it out. Or like when they would do the QB sneak, he would get cute sometimes. Or in the games where our offensive line is pushing their defensive line back, Buffalo Bills game, prime example, and Raheem Mostert was just running up and down the field. He then does the opposite, and he tries to, they're expecting the run. So yeah, they're expecting the run. Good. Let's go. Let's get this first down. So those are the things that I need to see him get better at this year. Those are my expectations. Now, the Dolphins' offensive line is something that needs to be talked about. Now, my prediction, and I think it's everyone's prediction, is your starting offensive line is going to be Teron Armstead, Isaiah Wynn, Connor Williams, Robert Hunt, Austin Jackson. We haven't seen Teron Armstead do anything because he's been injured, and I think even if he wasn't injured, we probably wouldn't see him in the preseason because he doesn't need to play in the preseason. So we'll see how he does against the Chargers week 1. But I feel comfortable with that starting offensive line. I think Isaiah Wynn is the best option we have at left guard. If they were like, actually, we're going to put Liam there because I would like flip my whole L-desk computer. Like, it would drive me nuts. But I need to see better out of that because I gave you the statistics on the pressure and the hits and the hurries, and then we were last in the NFL in getting blitzed. They need to do better because if that's the case and other defenses notice it, you don't have to send extra players to disrupt the quarterback. You can just send your 4, and then you can have the other 7. You have the other 7 just drop back into coverage. So I need to see more out of the offensive line. Now on the defense, well, hold on. Because now with the offensive line, we got Butch Berry in there. Now a lot of people poo-pooing Butch Berry. And a lot of people saw what Butch Berry did with the Broncos. And a lot of people don't look at certain things, certain statistics when it comes to the Broncos, like the amount of injuries they had and how good they still were and how much Russell Wilson was holding the ball and how much time he had in the pocket versus when he got sacked. A lot of the offensive line problem with the Broncos from statistics standpoint was kind of on Russell Wilson holding the ball. Now, will that change with us? I don't know. I hope so. I hope bringing in Butch Berry will change it. And I honestly think Vic Fangio was probably a big person in saying, hey, we should bring Butch Berry in. I really like the way he is on the offensive line. But, Applebaum, I was very high on. I loved what he did with his college offensive line. But the reason he was fired was because Frank Smith was taking time out of his job as the offensive coordinator to help him with the offensive line. And Mike McDaniel didn't want that. So he brought in a veteran offensive line coach. Crazy idea, right? Your offensive line struggling, let's bring in a veteran instead of bringing a guy who's never done it before. But hey, who am I to say anything? So Frank Smith can focus on the offense as a whole, so Mike McDaniel doesn't need to, compartmentalize his time. So that's the offense. So my expectation on the offense is I want to see better running, keep the passing production 4th in the NFL. You already know my expectations on Tua. Oh, and also let's stop the drops. Like Jalen Waddle, going to be an elite top wide receiver, but the man needs to catch with his hands and stop doing that thing where he jumps up in the air and brings his knees in to catch the ball. Other than that, the pass game is fine. You're 4th ranked in the NFL. I don't see much of a problem with the pass game. Flip it over on the defense. The defense was bad. We were very good at stopping the run. But other than that, they were bad. Couldn't get turnovers. You could throw on them day in and day out. Now, Xavier Howard was dealing with a groin injury, and Byron just didn't want to play, and Cater third in the NFL in coverage. I'm very happy about that. Unfortunately, now Jalen's not going to be in for the first half of the season, but I'm not as worried because of Vic Fangio. Now, do I think Vic Fangio, again, here's the expectation part, because I told you guys how much they blitzed and how many times it got home didn't correlate to the amount of time they blitzed. Vic Fangio has a track record. Vic Fangio has taken defenses and made them top 5 defenses. And not just with one team. Well, you could say it was Jim Harbaugh. No, he did it with the Bears as well. He has done it in multiple teams. So I feel comfortable that if there's a piece missing, or if someone's struggling, he's not going to leave that man to drown, essentially, aka putting Noah Igbenogany on Stephon Diggs when he was getting torched that game. He's going to sit back and be like, we need to make a move. We need to rotate. We need to shift coverages. And that's why I don't mind him being up in the box. Up in the box, you could see everything. So I don't mind him with his pad looking and being like, all right, well, if they're sending stuff this way, I need to shift my coverage this way. All right, send, blah, blah, blah. And he'll just tell the coordinators and the position coaches, this is what we're going to be doing. Because I'm noticing they're targeting blah, blah, blah. And that's where they keep going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift the safeties that way, but I'm also going to disguise that by having this. The man, for a year, has been sitting back and watching football and going, oh, I know how to stop Patrick Mahomes. Oh, Josh Allen, you just got to put a spy here, and you just got to do that because he has a hard time throwing if you do this and that. Oh, Jalen Hurts, it was my job with the Eagles to watch Jalen Hurts. Oh, I know what to do with Jalen Hurts. Oh, Mac Jones, he's not that mobile, so if I do this and that, oh, okay. Oh, Justin Herbert, great arm mobility, but you kind of get in his head if you try this, and that. He's been sitting for a year just dissecting the NFL and their passing, because it's a passing league now, and just, I'm going to have some fun. People think they know the defense that Vic Fangio is going to run because the Rams ran it and the Chargers ran it. How many of his disciples have ran a style of his defense? It's not going to be the same. For a year, he was switching and flipping and moving pieces around, and he was just looking for the perfect opportunity. And he picked the Dolphins because there's 3 pieces on this team that he likes a lot. This is from what I heard. Javon Holland, Jalen Phillips, and Christian Wilkins. Why do you think Christian Wilkins is still here? You heard that teams have called. Greer said teams have called for Christian Wilkins. And he said he's not up for trading. They asked Christian Wilkins. He said, I don't want to be traded. Why do you think that is? It's because Vic Fangio wants him there. Plain and simple. If the rumors are true that Wilkins wants to set the market and the Dolphins put $22 million on the table and he denied it because his team wants to set the market and because he wants more guarantee in his contract, do you think the Dolphins wouldn't trade him to Indy for Jonathan Taylor? All right, we'll send you Christian Wilkins. We'll send you whatever in a second. You think that trade wouldn't have gone down? But Vic Fangio's like, no, because I'm building my defense around those 3 pieces. And those 3 pieces are going to help us. Why do you think he said about Cam Smith, I got to be able to trust him that he's not going to make a mistake that's going to cost us? I'm excited to see what Vic Fangio can do. I'm excited to see what this Dolphin team can do. Now, again, I'm not going to give you a record prediction because that's tomorrow. But I'll say this. The defense, it's kind of like I said last year, right? This defense, the last year's defense, they've been together. Same playbook for 3 years. There should be no hiccups. There should be no slowing down. It should just be right off the bat starting. It was against the Patriots. It wasn't against the Ravens, and it kind of was against the Bills. Now it's a brand new defense. So I don't expect them to come out red hot. During preseason, people are already jumping off the Vic Fangio ship because they expected him to show everything in preseason. I was watching the preseason game, and I'm like, those receivers are about 5 yards off. They start backpedaling before the ball gets snapped. That is the most vanilla soft defense I've ever seen. Yeah, Doug, but he's blitzing. Okay. He's sending a linebacker. He didn't blitz a safety. He didn't blitz a corner. He would just randomly send a linebacker. It was the most vanilla, soft-based defense I've ever seen. And I already had people in the live stream and on Twitter like, oh, Vic Fangio's going to save this defense while they're playing like garbage. It's the preseason. So I'm excited. Now, do I expect them to come out lighting it up week one? No. If they do, I'll be ecstatic. But on the flip side, I expect this offense to continue what they did. Continue the Bears, Lions, and Browns game. Continue that high-octane game. Now, people have said, well, there's film out there, so they know how to stop our offense. If you think that it's going to be the same offense with the same minutia, with the same motions, with the same calls, with the same reads, I'm just going to say no. Because if that's the case, then Sherfield up in Buffalo is going to tell the Bills everything the Dolphins are doing. And all these offensive players that are in different teams are just going to let everyone know. That's not how that works. So this offense has been together. The offense in a whole, the only difference is the left guard, and that's it. It's the same offense. Braxton Berrios in the left guard. But Craycraft is still there. Tyreek's still there. Jalen's still there. Tua's still there. Mostert's still there. Ingold's still there. Armstead, Connor Williams, Austin Jackson, Robert Hunt, they're all still there. Durham Smythe's still there. It's the same offense, except for like 2 or 3 pieces. There should be no hiccups. There should be no, they need to learn it more. Let's give it till week 4. Nope. Out of the bat against the Chargers, you should know what to do. Now, I'm going to go more into detail on that Friday when I preview the game, because this is a revenge game. And I don't want to get too far into it, but this is a revenge game. You know what that defense is going to throw at you. Hey, Doug, but you just said the offense is going to change it up. You think Staley's not going to be like, oh, we shut down Tua by just pressing and covering the middle of the field. We're going to do it again. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's for Friday's preview. I got a full breakdown of that. But the offense, then there should be no hiccups. Week 1, offense should be off and running. I do expect a little bit of time on that defense. Again, it's a brand new spanking defense with those players. David Long's new, and Cam Smith is new, and all that stuff. But overall, I'm very excited about this team going into 2023. Tomorrow, I will give you my game-by-game breakdown and give you my prediction. I'm excited to do it. It makes me nervous because I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller. If I was, I'd be a millionaire because I would know the lottery numbers. But it's still fun. It's all in fun. Don't take it too seriously if I pick a game that you're like, the Dolphins aren't winning that. Or if I pick a game to lose and you're like, they should win that. It's all in fun. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you all tomorrow. I hope you like this video. I hope you're ready for the season. This time next week, I'll be doing my recap. No, this time next week, I'll be getting ready for the game because I'm releasing this video at like 9 o'clock. Dolphins are playing at 4:20 next Sunday in LA versus the Chargers. Dolphin football's back. Oh, I got goosebumps. I don't know if you can see it. Let's go Miami. But like usual, stay classy. Offense up.